Like syndicated radio podcast. How we doing today? How we doing today? Let's get right to it. The WNBA needs more African American fans. I repeat, the WNBA needs more African American fans. NBA Hall of Famer Rick Barry and George Gervin shared a moment speaking about the WNBA and how they felt about Caitlin Clark. You look at it, Caitlin Clark undoubtedly is the face of the WNBA. Everything centers around Caitlin, 100%. We're going to talk a little bit about Cheryl Reeves being the executive of the year and how that came about. And was that the correct decision? We'll venture into like Nike, no commercials. Nike's losing money. We'll look at that. We'll do that and more here on the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. And we welcome you. We always tell you it's my opinion. If the truth turns to fact, then I've given it to you long before. And that's what I do here. But let's get to it. The WNBA, there's not a doubt in my mind they need more WNBA African American fans. I mean, let's just face it. You got a situation with Caitlin Clark, and I watched the teams, I watched the players, I've watched the reaction and how the fans are treating the players, and you got the Vicaris coming in there at Golden State. And that's a little different for me, and here's why. You got the Lake Up, the owner. That's Boston Celtics. So if they're starting the expansion team and the owners are a branch of the Boston Celtics, they've done a fantastic job building Golden State into a champion. The league is not going to change. And here's my point of why I'm saying the WNBA needs more African American fans, specifically more African American men fans. Here's the deal. You can't get on somebody who's drawing fans, and this is where Rick Barry and George Gervin made it plain. I mean, they were like with Kathy Engelbert. You get into it, and you can't get upset when somebody's drawing fans and their fans have a love and affection for them. Okay, you can't change that. What you can change, or the WNBA can change, is they need to really have a target audience of increasing the African American fan base. Okay, because you got to look at it. Who's supporting the WNBA? Is it the Caucasian race, the black race? I don't even get into race. But when I look at the demographics and I look at what the WNBA players are complaining about, it's clear as day. You need to really focus on getting more African American fans. Now, can Kathy Engelbert say that? No. Am I sitting in a position where I'm looking at it collectively? I've followed the Indiana Fever their entire season. I've followed Caitlin Clark. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's simple stuff for me, but I'm not going to be in a business where I have the employees who are complaining about the clients or the customers that are coming to purchase the product. Now, you have a choice here, and I'm not going to put it completely, but I really want to get into this because George Gervin and Rick Barry. Okay, George Gervin and Rick Barry. Rick was very adamant, okay, about this. He basically was saying that Kathy Engelbert should suspend anybody that does anything flavored with Caitlin Clark, right? And so here's where I go to WNBA. You recruit more fans. One, you recruit more African Americans. Two, you got to recruit more men fans. Okay, because the men, I'll tell you, and I might throw I'm a man, so what am I going to do, right? I can't feel it any other way. The emotional effect. This is where I want to go to WNBA players. The emotional effect that this is having on men. I didn't know it would have an effect on me. Okay, and this is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. We support women empowerment. We understand what the women are trying to do. However, the concept is wrong. And I learned this, folks. Like I said, as a national business at AT&T, I learned this. You cannot, from Dan Granata. I mean, one of the best direct reports I've ever had. Dan used to tell me all the time, you cannot throw rocks at somebody when your house is made of glass. Okay? And that's what's going on. And basically, Gervin and Rick Barry. Rick Barry, in case some of you fans may not know, is white. George Gervin is black. So did they have the deal when Rick Barry came into the league that Caitlin has coming into the league? Yes. I mean, Rick Barry and Gervin were in the league, folks. Let me tell you, it's called the NBA. Everybody knows it as the NBA. You know what it was called? It was called NBA, stood for nothing but African. Okay, they got on the New York Knicks. Okay, the New York Knicks, and they were calling the New York Niggers. Okay, that's what they were calling them because one, they didn't have any Caucasian players on the team. Okay, or today, as you say, they didn't have any white players, right? So then the NBA went to an image. They went in there. There was drug suspicion allegedly going on in the NBA. That's not my topic here today. But the league was suffering tremendously. And as I look at this now, and I look at the WNBA, and the players that were in the league didn't understand the league was suffering in the NBA back then. They didn't get it. The NBA was on tape delay. You'd watch Brent Musburger, who calls games for the Oakland Raiders today. You'd watch Brent Musburger call a game at the middle of the night, right? So it'd come on at 11:30. That's how you watch the NBA. And then the transformation came. Here's where Gervin and Rick Barry, both Hall of Famers. Rick Barry, man, I watched Rick Barry when I was 10 years old going over there to Golden State Warriors. 1976, we won a championship. Here's what's very unique about Rick Barry. Rick Barry's white. Rick Barry has 3 sons, okay? All white players, too. In case you haven't noticed, dad white, mom white, players white. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. However, all of them played in the NBA, okay, for a stint, a moment, and some had extensive. I mean, Brent Barry won the dunk contest, okay? I mean, talking about a high flying player, right? So Rick's got 3 sons. Nobody could touch a topic like Rick Barry when it comes to being white and being in the NBA, being in professional basketball, right? So you got to understand it for them to say, "Hey, ladies, you missing the boat." The boat is getting missed so much that you got people want to change things because Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. This was discovered a long time ago. If you've been following me, I started her senior year at Iowa. I already knew this. This is a corporate enterprise dream. You can't get any better, right? And then the WNBA, you have the announcers, the broadcasters, rising boats lift all tides. Not the subject of the day. You got Cheryl Swoops just losing it. I have no idea because you're not going to see Rick Barry, Hall of Famers, Rick Barry and George Gervin start just blasting the league, right? They're not going to do it, right? So you start all this all because Caitlin Clark is the face of the league. Now, here's what you expected Caitlin to do: flop, fail, drop dead, cry, go out on an injury. Everything you wanted her to do, she didn't do. And that's why she's the face of the NBA. She's not even the face of the NBA because Caitlin Clark, because of her toughness. No, that's not it. Of her talent. No, it's her ability to be like Jackie Robinson, take the abuse, but nothing near what Jackie Robinson suffered. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm saying a player had to come in, keep their mouth shut. Keep their I salute XL Sports Management. You got Jeff Swartz, Chris Rivers, I know over there as a consultant. I mean, they did a great job of just having Caitlin control. Okay, because I'm sure when Caitlin leaves the court, gets off the court, there's a few words, choice words she has to say. She's going to be politically correct. Why? Because I'll tell you why Caitlin's politically correct, because she got love in her heart. Okay, you got to be lucky. Now, Caitlin Clark, okay, was like the other players. Let's say you wanted to go out there and just get nasty like Carrington or Alyssa Thomas. You want to get nasty like that, those players? You got the Minnesota Lynx. You want to get nasty like that? Well, let me tell you what happens when you get nasty like this. And this is what really blows me away, right? You put in there and you tell us Cheryl Reeve is the executive of the year. Now, the last time I checked, because executives make money. I told you about Wall Street, they make money. That's their job. Nike, their stock price is falling down. Do you think Nike wants to invest more money into the WNBA when we can't even catch the Engelbert? No fines, no suspension, can't get the WNBA together. Now, why do I speak like this and why do I have such a passion for it? Folks, I want the WNBA in Sacramento more than you can believe. We are a United Nations in Sacramento. What does that mean? So how would this play out in Sacramento? Because we have Asian basketball. Man, the Asian players can play. Okay, they can really play. We have Hispanic basketball players. We have black basketball players. We have white basketball players. We have Hmong basketball players. We have Italian basketball players. We have India. We got Yuba City right up the road, basketball players, right? How's this all going to play when we got a United Nations in Sacramento? And I'm talking, you want to know if the India love basketball? You know, I met a couple guys, Giannis and those guys, they raise peaches in Yuba City. They're big time Sacramento Kings fans, season ticket holders, courtside. Okay. The other thing is they got daughters too, right? You got the Kings owner has a daughter. He bought the team because he has a daughter, right? So at some point, we got to bring this thing to reality and say, Cheryl Reed, okay, as an executive, here's what I want to know. And I didn't talk about it much, but I'll talk about it now. Last time I checked, executives make money. That's their job, okay? And I know that I looked at it, Minnesota Lynx, if I stand correct, send me a message in comments because Cheryl Reeves has a general manager, but how did we skip the general manager and give her executive of the year? Now, all of that I tolerated, I stomached, and I accepted. But then when I saw the attendance, now here's what blows me away. This is the WNBA. Okay, this is a playoff game. It's the Final Four. Okay, you got balcony seats you're selling for $10. Can't give the seats away. You got courtside seats selling for $60, and you're executive of the year. That's called bad management. That's called bad decision. And it just stockpiled itself. Okay. It stockpiled itself with Cheryl Reeves, you know, because you guys want Nike to make commercials, but Nike can't make commercials because Nike's going to lose money. Why would I make a commercial and lose money? Let's be honest, right? And where did this all go? And I'll circle around. I'll keep on doing it. And thanks to my Dr. Blue Screen, kind of got me here, wants to keep me on track, get me going right. Okay. ESPN, WNBA, and Stephen A. Smith. Man, it's all started. Got messy. It was messy over there. Okay. And if you, there's a terminology that use, okay, in the African American community. It's called messy. When you get messy and there's drama, that means you're just circulating and you want to keep it going, right? So what happened? ESPN gets on there, Cheryl Swoops gets on there. You got people, Monica McNutt calling Stephen A. out. You ain't done nothing for the WNBA. You ain't nothing. You ain't even a man, right? That's what happened. That's what she told him on his show. Stephen A., you're not a man, right? And then you want to pull rank that I'm the boss, right? But then you're not really the boss because Disney's the boss, right? So they got to come up with this animation of drama because guess what? It turned out, and I'm not saying it is because I am not in the production team, right? But in the media, I mean, ESPN turned into one giant big podcast, right? It's a big podcast. What can we do on here today that could get more viewers, right? And then we'll get off here. We'll go on another show at night. We'll try to get more viewers again, right? But what are you doing? You've muddied the water of the WNBA when you had a generational player come through in Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA, all first team WNBA, right? So let me explain this how this all works because this is how it gets messy, and it gets messy with the media, right? And you come in here, and Caitlin can't be on the MVP ballot, but you can make first team all WNBA. What does the first team all WNBA mean? That means that you are one of the top 5 players in the WNBA. That honor was deserved. Okay. That honor was deserved on Team USA. That's been a tradition in America for as long as I can live, where college players or entry are put on the team as a symbol of the future to come. Now you got to dig this whole thing out. You got Olympics committed in 4 more years. You got to do it in LA. This is the United States of America, home of the brave, land of the free, home of the brave. We come from a family of patriots. And America, as we went over at Team USA, as Cheryl Weaves was the executive of the year. That's not how we want to display America. That's chaos. That's confusion. And that shows weakness. The WNBA, I'll tell you, it's going to be a changing of the guard. And why do I say this? Why do I say you need more African American fans, especially African American men? Here's the deal. Why? Because a lot of those fathers who are seeing this game, they're training their daughters. Okay. You got one thing I know about women's basketball, especially in Sacramento, we have a lot of men that coach the game. A lot of men. Okay. And one thing the WNBA and the players and the coaches and everybody else I want to understand as fathers, we have to tell our daughters something. We have to explain what happened on that court. Now, in your eyes, it doesn't really matter. But for us and the passion felt with the daughter, okay, we have to tell our daughters something. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, good defense is good defense. You play it right, right? It's not physical if somebody runs into you. I mean, heck, when my daughter's in the 7th grade, she broke 3 noses in a game, right? But she had her hands up. They just ran into her, right? If you play it fair and clean, the fans appreciate it. And I'll tell you another thing. The fans don't really care if you have the most talent on the court. They don't really care about that. I'm going to really let the players because I think the WNBA players think it's about talent. And I learned this from Calvin Andrews, okay, director of basketball operations at Clutch Sports, okay? We're sitting there, we're in Las Vegas, we're watching the Pac-12 championships, and we started having a conversation, and he told me, Mike, this is Calvin, Clutch Sports. It's not about the talent. It's about the situation the player is in. Players can have great talent, but be in a bad situation. What do I mean? If you took a survey in the WNBA and you guys said, okay, this is silent, how many of you guys want off the team that you're currently on? Because see, everybody, this is not a league, okay, as my educators have taught me, my good friend, Dr. Thomas Earl Reed, College of DuPage, Hall of Fame, Yuba College, and also on the post the Positive Coaching Alliance, as he does tremendous work with them, is it's not about you and what you can do with talent. Talent can be replaced. And I got news for you. The best star on acting today in the movies is not the most talented. The best singer that's probably singing, and I don't know music as good as everyone, but they're probably not the best singer, but they were placed in a situation. The WNBA needs more African American fans. The WNBA has to accept Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. There's no doubt about it. The WNBA can no longer do the charade of Cheryl Reeve. I mean, Cheryl Reeve's probably a great person, but there's too much baggage that follows Cheryl Reeve around for the WNBA to be in the position. I couldn't see Cheryl Reeves coaching the Olympic team again, Team USA. I couldn't see it. Okay. I won't see somebody being the executive of the year, can't sell out their own arena. Okay. And you got two teams doing the most complaining that flipped this whole league down. There's only a handful of teams in the WNBA. It's not all the teams, but there's a few teams here that have got certain players on that have flipped this league upside down. Okay. Don't have the money to cover the bill. Nike won't do any commercials, and you're going to run into competition eventually. And you got enough people. I'll tell you this about corporate enterprise business. You piss enough people off about Caitlin Clark, man, you'll have a competition league tomorrow. Okay, don't think it's a big deal for somebody to spend $100 million on salaries that's not carrying a labor load or not carrying investor debt. Okay, the person comes in today, they just need the arenas. Okay, and they can get out there. You're talking about a corporate enterprise business. WNBA is headquarters out of New York, but has 12 locations, 12 franchises. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of money. There's a gentleman come over from Saudi Arabia in boxing, right? He comes over changing the face of boxing. You need money, let's make the fights, right? PGA golf didn't want to share name, limit, and Icarus, okay? What did Saudis do? They started Tiger Woods. He tried to hang on, but everybody over started leaving. Phil Mickelson. Guys are going to making more money, right? They go over to the other league. There's no doubt in my mind. They start another women's professional basketball. You can make more money because you don't have the labor load and you don't have the debt load. Okay, you don't have 58% of your profit going, and all you need is a TV contract. You want to figure out how it's done? Mark Davis knows. That's why Mark Davis is always going to be on the opposite side. Why? because Al Davis and the AFL, once they got the TV contract, that gave them money to go sign players. If the WNBA, I will tell you, if it comes down where you get ESPN, Disney, ABC, which is pretty much monopolizing the market. I'm sure there's a lot of affiliates that would love to watch WNBA local television. That hasn't been expanded. But if you get another league that comes in here and the other league gets the affiliates, the local TV station, to watch those games, I tell you what, you'll have competition without a labor law. You can pay every player $1 million. There's only 144 players. You can give them $2 million each, and it's only going to cost you. What are you talking about? $280 million? I mean, that's not a lot of money, folks. Not on the amount of revenue you bring on the TV contract. Yeah, you may not get 2.2 billion, but heck, you know what? We'll start out. You give us a TV contract, just cover the salaries, right? Let's cover our administration costs. That's good enough. Well, you know how to make money because the next league coming in is coming in to make money. Okay, they're in the business to make money. For somebody who may not know, Nike is in the business of making money. Bill Knight is in the business of selling shoes. If the most popular players in the WNBA are complaining, you need more African American fans. That's what you're going to need. Because here's the deal: if you get in there and you get these players, bring in more African American fans, and African Americans buy your shoes. Okay, because they don't have no problem selling out Caitlin Clark shoes, or they ain't have no problem selling out Anesto's shoes, right? New York Liberty. Nesco plays a game, man. I barely hear her say a word. She may get a little feisty, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're trying to. It's a business. It's a corporate enterprise business, and you know what? You got to change the way the game is played. So that's my take for today, and I'm being honest. I'm not going to tell you. You got the WNBA needs more African American fans. NBA Hall of Famers George Gervin and Rick Barry speak loudly, okay, that Kathy Engelbert should be handing down fines and suspension because they come from the league when the league, they used to call it nothing but Africans, and the league as allegedly, was infested with drug problems, right? So they've been through tape delay. Those guys went through what the WNBA is going through now. Okay, the ladies of the WNBA, that's what Rick Barry and them went through, right? And all of a sudden you had Adam Face and Rick Barry, 99% at the free throw line, underhanded. But Rick Barry knows, and Caitlin Clark's facing the NBA because why does Rick Barry know? Rick Barry had 3 sons that were able to come into the WNBA. That's 3 white players. One of the sons, Brent Barry, went ahead and won the dunk contest. Okay, so the theory of white men can't jump, well, throw that out the window because that doesn't work, right? Cheryl Reeves, man, you can't even give away the tickets. That ain't an executive. That's somebody that's just pile driving the league. And, it's like, is there a strike coming? When unions have a strike, let's go cause all the damage we have and walk out. Because I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, you flop on Team USA, right? You flop. Okay, you come back, you flop there on the all first team WNBA. Okay, you flop there and you come back to the playoffs and you get executive of the year for building a championship team. Folks, I can go and build a championship team, but the WNBA is going to look at me like, Mike, what are we doing? What do you mean, Mike, what are we doing? Well, you don't have any fans coming to the game. If you don't have any fans coming to the game, that's not a championship team. If you're looking at championship only as talent and that's all you're contributing to the WNBA, you know what the WNBA is going to tell you? As I told you in the beginning, half of the players won't be here. Goodbye. That's how they're going to do it. And I'll tell you what, in the NFL, they say goodbye quickly. They'll cut you in camp, cut you the next day. Do something you shouldn't be doing. They will release you. Okay. And that's the truth. So if you look at these things and you got Reeves and you got Nike, let's look at it. Nike, let's spend $100 million. Nike saying, let's spend $100 million on commercials. And guess what? Let's make 50. We're going to lose 50. Now, we're already losing giving you money. So we're going to make more commercials and lose more money. It's not how the corporate business works. They're in the business for the shareholders, and the shareholders are responsible. CEO is responsible to those shareholders. They're not friends with the shareholders. They're there to make them money. Okay, so you got to look at that. Where did it all start? ESPN, as we say in the African American community, got a little messy. Started off messy till Nancy Lieberman had to say, Cheryl Swoops, do your job. Nancy Lieberman, WNBA players, do your job. Just go play basketball. Don't turn it into a circus and a platform and then run overseas where you can make more money. I got news for you. We're going to wrap it up. I got news for you, folks. You may be running overseas smiling, but I tell you what, when the global gets there and this whole global thing, let me tell you, Nike's got a lot of reach. NBA's got a lot of reach. Everybody's got a lot of reach, and you got a lot of smart people coming to the table. When they figure this out, let me tell you what they're going to control. They're going to control both sides of the fence, okay? Because that's part of the global architecture, and that's how the NBA became billions of dollars, and David Stern saw the vision. Adam Silver's completing the vision. Kathy Engelbert has a vision. Somebody else will come and complete the vision. But you got to know 28 years, you're a young league, but it's not thriving because of the talent on the floor. It's thriving because of the message that's being sent to the WNBA fans. And if you want to send that message, then you need more African American fans. That's the only way you can send that message. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. We understand all things are possible to those who believe. We'll see you soon.